Welcome to Easy Driver, the most reliable source of automotive information on YouTube. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. The global shift toward electric vehicles, EVs, isn't slowing down, creating huge opportunities worldwide. Emerging markets, however, pose a distinct set of challenges alongside this potential growth. These regions often have unique demands driven by limited buying power and developing infrastructure. Japanese automakers, historically dominant in these areas, face increased pressure to compete on cost. Winning the emerging market race by 2026 relies heavily on smart, localized pricing strategies. They must move beyond standard global models to succeed. This video explores the necessary pricing frameworks Japanese brands need to adopt. We'll look at key issues like fierce local competition, fluctuating incentives, and the delicate balance between affordability and profitability in these key regions. Understanding these dynamics is essential for market success in the next few years. Why standard EV pricing fails in emerging markets by 2026? For many global automakers, setting a price for a new electric vehicle often involves calculating costs and adding a profit margin. This standard approach completely falls apart in emerging markets. Simply converting a developed market price into local currency ignores massive economic structural differences. By 2026, forcing Western or Japanese EV pricing onto these diverse markets will guarantee failure. The approach must change because the core economics, infrastructure, and competition are fundamentally different. The sticker shock: understanding local buying power versus EV costs. The key obstacle for widespread EV adoption isn't desire, it's affordability. Electric vehicles are expensive to build primarily due to the high cost of advanced battery packs. These costs determine the starting retail price. Compare this cost structure to the average income in many emerging economies. In regions like Southeast Asia, Latin America, or parts of Africa, the income required to afford an entry-level EV is substantially higher relative to the local average salary compared to buyers in North America or Europe. This creates a severe sticker shock effect. Customers who currently purchase new gasoline cars in these markets expect prices in a specific, often much lower range. Here is why the initial high cost becomes an immovable barrier. Low disposable income. Most households prioritize basic necessities. A car purchase represents a much larger percentage of their lifetime earnings. Battery chemistry cost. Lithium-ion battery technology, while improving, still represents up to 40% of the vehicle's total manufacturing cost. Without significant breakthroughs in low-cost battery chemistries like sodium-ion, the floor price remains too high. Finance limits. Banking and lending infrastructure in these markets can be less developed. Higher interest rates and stricter loan requirements further push EVs out of reach for middle-class consumers. Affordable EVs do not just save money on fuel. They must cost significantly less upfront to be acceptable. Infrastructure hurdles that affect perceived value. In many emerging markets, infrastructure is a significant challenge. This is not just about having fewer charging stations. This instability actively reduces the perceived value of an EV, which forces the acceptable price point lower. A buyer considers more than the vehicle itself. They consider the full ownership experience. If that experience involves significant risk of being stranded or facing high charging costs, the vehicle's appeal drops sharply, regardless of its features. Challenges that lower perceived value include grid instability. Power outages and voltage fluctuations are common in some regions. This instability leads to long charge times or potential damage to expensive charging equipment, making buyers hesitant. Charging station scarcity, range anxiety. In developed nations, charging is frequently available in cities and along major highways. In contrast, charging networks in emerging markets are often sparse and concentrated only in major metropolitan hubs. Home charging difficulty. Many low to middle income consumers live in apartments or communal housing without dedicated secure parking spaces. Installing a home charger is often impossible, forcing reliance on the public network. When charging access is difficult, the utility of the EV decreases. Buyers are essentially paying a premium for a car they cannot reliably use everywhere they need to go. Therefore, the brand must compensate for this lack of infrastructure by offering a vastly lower initial purchase price. Battling local and Chinese EV competitors on price. Japanese automakers face a new generation of competitors that are masters of cost reduction, particularly in the entry-level EV segment. These players set the new baseline expectation for market pricing. The competitive landscape is defined by two primary groups. Established local brands. Companies, especially those in India, such as Tata Motors or South America, often have deep supply chains, existing manufacturing footprints, and strong trust among local consumers. They can engineer vehicles specifically for local road conditions and budgets, typically focusing on small, highly affordable cars. Aggressive Chinese EV makers. Chinese manufacturers, driven by massive domestic scale and government support, dominate the low-cost EV sector globally. Companies like BYD, Wuling, and Nita often introduce EVs with competitive range and features at prices that are difficult for international rivals to match without dramatic localization efforts. These competitors often price their vehicles competitively with or slightly above similar gasoline models. Japanese brands, known for quality and reliability, traditionally command a small price premium. However, this premium is quickly shrinking when placed next to a functional, feature-rich Chinese EV costing 30% less. To compete effectively and meet local price expectations, Japanese brands must innovate their manufacturing and supply chain processes to win on cost first, and then on brand value. Japanese automakers' secret weapon: smart, localized EV cost control. Japanese automakers know that simply shrinking a global EV to fit an emerging market budget is not enough. To truly win on cost by 2026, they must redesign the vehicle from the ground up with affordability as the primary goal. Their advantage lies in deep experience with highly reliable, small and efficient cars. This cost control strategy focuses on intelligent compromises, like reducing battery size and stripping non-essential features, making the final sticker price palatable to local consumers. Battery pack strategy: smaller range for lower price points. The single largest cost driver in any electric vehicle is the battery. Japanese brands are rethinking the need for long-distance battery packs in urban-heavy emerging markets. Instead of chasing a 400 kilometers range, they are prioritizing a low starting price by fitting smaller, cheaper battery packs. Think about how people primarily use cars in dense emerging market cities. They drive short distances daily. A typical emerging market driver often commutes less than 50 kilometers per day. For this use case, a huge battery is unnecessary weight and cost. By offering a vehicle with a city-focused range, such as 150 to 200 kilometers, automakers achieve several critical cost savings. Direct material cost reduction. A smaller battery requires less raw material, instantly dropping the production cost by thousands of dollars. Weight reduction for efficiency. Lower battery weight means less energy is needed for propulsion. This allows the use of smaller, less powerful motors and simpler thermal management systems, generating further savings. Faster charging acceptance. Smaller packs charge faster, even on lower power, less expensive public charging infrastructure, easing range anxiety in shorter bursts. This strategy ensures the EV meets local mobility needs without carrying the price premium associated with unused range capability. For the customer, they get 95% of the utility at a fraction of the cost, making the EV far more accessible. Lightweighting and feature stripping for cost savings. To meet aggressive price targets, Japanese engineers are experts at what is called feature stripping. This process involves carefully removing non-essential luxury items that add significant cost and complexity. The goal is to maximize core functionality, safety, and reliability while keeping the price competitive with local gasoline cars. Stripping features is not about making a bare-bones car, but rather focusing resources where they matter most, like motor efficiency and structural integrity. For emerging market models, automakers can responsibly remove or simplify features that often inflate prices in developed markets. The following non-essential features can be simplified or removed from base models. Infotainment systems. Replace large, high-definition touchscreens with smaller, simpler LCD displays or basic smartphone docking integration. The full navigation system can often be handled by the driver's phone. Interior comforts. Eliminate power-adjustable seats, multi-zone climate control, or high-end speaker systems. Basic, durable, manually adjusted seats and robust single-zone air conditioning suffice. Advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS. Features like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and parking assists are often costly. By focusing on fundamental passive safety features like airbags and ABS, costs are saved. Material choices. Substitute premium interior materials, such as soft-touch plastics and leather, with highly durable, easy-to-clean standard plastics and fabrics designed to withstand local wear and tear. Removing these features can slice thousands off the bill of materials without compromising vehicle structure or core EV performance. This approach transfers the savings directly to the consumer, making the vehicle much more attractive. Now you see why pricing strategy is critical for EV success in new markets. Stay tuned for part 2. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe for more automotive information like this. Thank you for watching.